What is up, my Grookey gang? Flashfire here, and today we're going to be building a new competitive team with Rillaboom. As always, guys, if you want to be able to catch this team live on Showdown and in Wi-Fi battles and get the chance to battle me, be sure to go down in the description, click the link, follow me on Twitch. I stream every Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. So one of the best ways to get into competitive battling once you've played through the brand new Pokemon games is, of course, to build a team with your starter. You've brought him all the way from the beginning of the game, and he's going to be one of your highest levels. So today we're going to be looking at the cutest one on the menu, and that will be Grookey. Don't at me, Grookey is the cutest starter, I don't want to hear it. But outside of being one of the best looking ones, he also has some really strong competitive assets. The first of these is going to be his hidden ability, Grassy Surge, which sets grassy terrain. At the end of every turn, you heal 1/16 of your max HP if you're touching the ground. It also boosts the power of grass type moves by 50%, which is really strong for this guy, as he has a very high attack stat, which paired with his grass typing and a big strong grass type move, he's going to be hitting like an absolute truck. Now, in terms of offensive stats on this guy, the thing that really lets him down is his speed. He has 125 base attack, a decent HP stat as well with 100, but unfortunately he only has 85 speed. So the way that we're going to be mitigating that on this team, we're going to be running a choice scarf on him. This does lock us into whatever move we decide to go for to start with, but it does mean that we'll be able to get hits off on a lot of things that we wouldn't be able to otherwise, as well as turns him into a very potent revenge killer. We're going to be running Wood Hammer, which is a 120 base power grass type move. Pair that with his 125 base attack stat and the Grassy Surge boost and his same type attack bonus. It's going to be doing a lot of damage unless you resist it. Even if you resist it, it's going to hit like a truck. So as I said, we're going to be running a choice scarf on this guy, which means that we want to be able to run moves that aren't especially situational and that we can just spam out and get good coverage with. As such, we're going to be going for Wood Hammer. As I mentioned, that's just going to be an absolute nuke to anything that doesn't resist it, and I think that's going to be really helpful. The next move we're going to go for, of course, we're going to be running Earthquake. This is one of the best coverage moves in the game. It neutrally hits so many things, and it gives us a really good answer to poison type and electric types. Things like Toxapex are not going to want to switch into this. The next move we're going for, which gives us some really good coverage and also some really good utility, is Knockoff. This move has been strong every single generation it's been in. Taking items off of things is always fantastic, so I really like having this move on here. And then finally, one of the things that I really like about all of the starters of this gen is that they can all learn U-turn. So we're going to be running U-turn on this guy. Not only is this going to hit really hard as we are fully attack invested, but also it provides really good utility for the team. It eases predictions with a lot of stuff and lets you get other threats on the team in really easily. So finally, for the Eevee spread on this guy, as I've mentioned already, we are just going to be investing fully in attack. We're also going to be obviously investing fully in speed. Now here we're going to be running an Adamant Nature. The reason for that being that with an Adamant Nature, we still hit a high enough speed level to outpace things that are up to base 120 speed. Anything faster than that will potentially outspeed if it's running a max speed nature, but outside of that, we're going to outspeed everything. This is able to just come in and revenge kill or just threaten stuff so much. So it's going to be a very potent poke. I think the other way that you could potentially run this guy, you might be able to stick like leftovers on him and SD. With the grassy terrain, you'd be recovering, what's that, you'd be recovering 1/8 of your health every turn. You'd have Swords Dance. Your speed stat is still a little bit underwhelming, but it would give you that +2, and you'd be an incredibly strong wall breaker with it. Now, this attacking spread does give us perfect neutral coverage, but we will struggle offensively versus bug, flying, fighting, and grass types. Now, seeing that really makes me want to run a flying type in this slot, and something that I didn't get to use last generation, and that I'm really excited about, is Unburden Hawlucha with all these terrains. So what we're going to do here is run a Grassy Seed Hawlucha. What that does for the uninitiated, Hawlucha has Unburden, which means that its speed is doubled when it loses its held item. A Grassy Seed is a seed that is consumed when you hit grassy terrain, and it boosts your defense. So you switch Hawlucha into the grassy terrain, you eat the seed, you get a +1 defense, and then your speed doubles and you become a terrifying sweeper. That's the game plan anyway. So here we're going to be running a Swords Dance and Roost set, because that's going to give us some really good survivability as well as allow us to set up in a big way and deal so much damage with our 2 stab moves in High Jump Kick and Acrobatics. Acrobatics, of course, getting a power boost when the user has no held item. So this is literally just a set that has been ripped from last generation and brought forward. We're going to be running 124 speed Eevees. This gives us enough speed to outspeed Jolly Excadrill in the sand after we've gotten our Unburdened boost off. Then we're going to be running max attack Eevees with an adamant nature, and the rest are just going to go into HP for that little bit of extra survivability, making sure, of course, that we still have that odd number of HP so that we can survive extra turns of Stealth Rock switch in. So the next thing we're going to do here is add a ground type to the team. We've got an electric weakness in Hawlucha. We want to be able to mitigate that as much as possible while also posing a threat. I do quite like to run offensive teams personally, so we're going to be slapping a Diggersby in this slot. Now, you'll have noticed here that we're just running 3 absolute beasts of physical attack, and that is intentional. We just want to, 2 of these 3 are here to just break down walls and be an absolute nuisance, and then the third one is able to sweep through and clean up and revenge kill and all of that good stuff. So we just want things to be able to force switches and deal tons and tons of damage. So with Diggersby here, we're going to be putting a choice band on him. Now, you might be concerned by his base 56 attack stat here, but if you pair that with his huge power ability, his attack stat is doubled, so this guy can do an unreasonable amount of damage in a very short space of time, especially with his great neutral coverage with Earthquake and Frustration, as well as stab, priority in quick attack, and then the U-turn is there as well, which I absolutely love. I'm actually just shoving as many U-turns and Volt Switches on my teams as I possibly can because it really, really eases the pressure off of making predictions. So while we could run a Jolly Nature and outspeed maybe a couple of extra things, we're going to be going for an Adamant Nature here, specifically because we just want this guy to switch in and absolutely blast things. That's what he's here for. That's what we're going for. So we've got an absolutely terrifying offensive physical core there. I think it can pretty much blast through the entirety of the metagame, so that's going to be really, really nice. One thing that we don't really have so far, unfortunately, is something to just switch into and tank Toxapex. So what we're going to be going for here is a Hatterene. This guy's Psychic Fairy type. He gets Magic Bounce so that Toxapex can't Toxic him. Also, couldn't Toxic Spikes on him because we'll just switch in and bounce them back at him, which is really, really cool. We're going to be running Psychic and Dazzling Gleam just for the dual stab. The coverage, having a fairy move is always really, really good. Then we're going to be putting Aromatherapy on here because if any of our physical attackers get burned, it's a really, really bad time for us, so we want to be able to mitigate that as much as possible. And then finally, we're going to be running Healing Wish, which is potentially just going to be able to resurrect one of our very low or dying Pokemon here, especially like late game. If we can get that off and bring back our Scarfer or bring back our priority user, it will be a big, big deal. Now, this guy is very slow. We're just going to be running enough speed investment here to outspeed Toxapex, which means we need 52 speed EVs. And then we'll just be maxing out the special attack and the HP slots just to deal as much damage as possible. We're not going to kid ourselves into saying we're going to outspeed anything, so we'll just content ourselves with beating Toxapex, which is what this is here to deal with. Next, we're going to be running a specially defensive Rotom Wash. We need some hazards removal on this team, and this guy just really fits the bill quite nicely. We're currently missing water and electric coverage, so the Hydro Pump and Volt Switch that he provides is going to be very, very useful, as well as the ability to remove hazards. I know we don't have anything that's especially weak to hazards on the team, but it's still good to be able to get rid of them. We do, of course, also have Pain Split on here for a little bit of recovery. I was considering running Resto Chesto, but we are going to be running that on something else on the team, and I didn't really want to overdo that, so here we go. It's going to be Pain Split, and we're running the leftovers as well, just to give him a little bit of extra survivability. And then finally, we're going to be running a specially defensive spread on this guy with a Calm Nature. Something to note here as well, it gives us another Volt Switch user, so we've got loads of Volt Switch and U-turn potential on this team. We've got Rillaboom, Diggersby, and Rotom. We're going to be able to just gain so much momentum and hopefully blast through, folks. The final member of this team and a potential Gigantamax user is going to be Duraludon. This guy is a really interesting Pokemon with very good stats across the board. 70 HP, 115 defense, 120 special attack, and 85 speed is not bad at all. We're going to be running a physically defensive set here to pair with our Rotom, which is also why we're going to be running the Resto Chesto on this guy. Unfortunately, he doesn't get any big recovery moves, so we're going to be running Rest. We're going to be running the Chesto Berry, because that will give us that extra bit of longevity, as well as that, if we need to, we can potentially Healing Wish him up with the Hatterene, so he does potentially have an extra life an extra 2 lives even if he needs them. This guy's also going to be our Stealth Rock setter, and outside of that, we're just going to be going for some nice coverage moves. We've got Flash Cannon and Draco Meteor on here. Nice bit of stab, and potentially the ability to nuke stuff that we don't like the look of. As I mentioned as well, this guy is going to be our G-Max user for the team. He has G-Max Depletion, which is a 140 base power special dragon move, and when you use it, it reduces the PP of the last move that the opposing Pokemon used. So if you get this in against like something stally looking, or something that's just used like a Focus Blast or a Pyro Ball or something like that, you're going to potentially just stop it from using that move for the rest of the game, which could be a very big deal. Okay, so that is going to be the team for Grookey, guys. If you like it, be sure to let me know down in the comments. Tell me what you think I can change, why you think it's good, why you think it's bad. That would be awesome. Remember to follow me on Twitch Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays to catch some live Wi-Fi and showdown battles. And I will see you in the next one.